What's an unspoken rule that annoys you? I was in a meeting with my boss and a few other managers when my phone rang. It was my son's school, and I knew it was important. I apologized and stepped out to take the call. My son had been hurt, and I needed to pick him up immediately. I rushed back into the meeting room, quickly explained the situation, and said I had to leave. My boss looked at me and said, "This meeting is more important than your son. Sit down." I was shocked. I told him that my son was hurt and needed me. He repeated that the meeting was more important. I looked at the other managers, hoping for support, but they all looked away. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I told my boss that my son would always come first and left the meeting. I picked up my son and took him to the hospital. He had a broken arm, but he was okay. The next day, I was called into my boss's office. He told me that I was being written up for leaving the meeting. I told him that I didn't care and that my son would always come first. I then went to HR and filed a complaint. A few days later, I was called into a meeting with HR, my boss, and the other managers. HR told me that my complaint was being dismissed and that I was being written up for leaving the meeting. I couldn't believe it. I quit on the spot. A few weeks later, I got a call from one of the managers who was in the meeting. He told me that after I left, my boss went on a rant about how employees needed to learn to prioritize work over family. The manager told me that he had recorded the rant and had sent it to HR. My boss was fired and I was offered my job back. I declined.